Hello everyone, today we are looking at flashbangs versus ninebangs. Now, a lot of people should already technically know about flashbangs. They've kind of been in the game forever. I am just going to be kind of showing the baseline of kind of what you expect normally from the flashbang, and then I'll kind of look at the ninebangs after and kind of talk about like my findings in my testing, and you can kind of clearly see based on just the contrast of the video here that when I am using flashbangs, and I'm just going to tell you straight up, flashbangs are going to be technically way better than ninebangs. There are going to be instances where a ninebang might like help you out in a particular situation, but a lot of the time they are far and few and in between when it comes to their usefulness. Now, another thing about flashbangs that's really good is it's time to entry, so you can throw it, flashbang, and it has a decent sized radius. So you'll be looking at a lot of these clips here in front of me, and a lot of the time it kind of surprised me the range at which it stunned targets. You'll kind of notice when I'm throwing outside of the apartments here, but a lot of the time they were just like easy, quick, and simple, and it was effective. And it was kind of hard, like for example that just right there where the range of that, I was surprised it even stunned him at that range, where it was a pretty good range distance. I was honestly even kind of surprised myself when I was testing these. I'm like, wow, that's pretty far. And a lot of the time whenever you're using flashbangs, you do mess up, it's not a big deal. Now you'll kind of get an idea once you see when I misthrow like a ninebang, it's like a million times worse. But flashbangs are like, they're just good all around. You can throw them through cracks of the doors if you use your breaching shotgun really well. And if you do misthrow, it's not going to be as big of a deal because it's a quick thing. It explodes, it's done. You might be blind or whatever, depending if you have gas mask or flash goggles, but most of the time probably people are going to be printing flash goggles since people aren't really using gas right now, even though I think it's really good. So like if I kind of missed through that flashbang and it wasn't anything of consequence, and you'll see here with like the ninebangs, every time I threw a ninebang and I messed up, it was like annoying and difficult. And imagine throwing one and messing up your whole team simply just because you missed through a flashbang, or a ninebang, I mean, sorry. So when it came to the flashbangs, it was simple and it was just fast, and I can't like, you kind of can't go wrong with a flashbang, honestly. They're just kind of like all-purpose good. I don't really have much more to say about them other than they were good. And comparing it to ninebangs, which you'll see me using ninebangs in a little bit. But whenever I was throwing ninebangs, people, you know, I tried to like look at every avenue where I could see an advantage of using a ninebang versus a flashbang, and I couldn't really find many. And if there were any advantages of using a ninebang over a flashbang, those moments in time never came up. A lot of the time, it was very rare. And I'm sure another thing to kind of note is that you also have to be lucky enough to be able to throw it in that situation in the first place, because a lot of the time whenever you're using a flashbang or something, and not to mention, to be very clear, and as I said, you'll see the footage here shortly with the ninebangs, you guys probably know this already, the ninebang radius is smaller than the regular flashbang. When it came to throwing the flashbang, it has a good radius for clearing a room, and that's kind of what you usually use flashbangs for, or any grenade for that matter, is you throw it into a room, you kind of clear the hard corners you can't really handle, and then you kind of push in most of the time. Other times it's like if there's a guy around a corner, you throw it and you can't tackle it, you throw that bang to try to, you know, stun them and push that room or that corner or whatever, right? So to speak, it's for corners you can't really access. If you are using a ninebang, it is very hard to get into those deeper corners when you're throwing from certain angles in certain maps. So for example, in this one, I'm hitting multiple targets in a very kind of centralized location simultaneously because of its range. With a ninebang, it wasn't really as consistently good. It's obviously of that shorter range, as I kind of spoke about. Now, there is something to be said about like ninebangs and how they can be useful, but as I said, there's not very many situations I was running into with my testing where it was ever beneficial to have the ninebang rather than just a regular flashbang. Anytime I threw a ninebang, and you'll see here just coming up shortly, when I was using ninebangs, I couldn't find a situation where it was better than the flashbang. The flashbang just kind of outshone it in every aspect. And another thing right here, if you do mess up and you do go too quickly or whatever, and you end up getting flagged by the ninebang, or you misthrow it, you have to wait a very, very long time to go into a room, You have to wait a very long time to recover after the earthquake of a grenade going off and shaking the whole entire universe. Because even at distance, if you are very far from the 9bang being thrown, it still shakes your screen like crazy. And you have to just sit there for all those explosions to go off before you can even like start moving out, because your screen's shaking like crazy and it's harder to take those shots. So you're not getting any value out of throwing a 9bang. Like, it's going to stun them just as like just much like a regular flashbang. So a lot of the time whenever I was throwing 9bangs, I was like, I would throw it and I'd be like, okay, now I gotta wait. And then I'm going in and I'm like, okay, I didn't hear anything, I'll throw another one. Okay, I gotta wait again. Okay, then I'll go in. Like, because the radius in combination with like the time it takes for it to enter the room. And imagine if you throw a 9bang, it goes off and anybody in the room is already running around. And you have to wait to throw another one to then enter the room. So you're just delaying your entry to the room. Enemies can run away because it's a smaller radius. And it just wasn't good for the time that you needed to throw a grenade. But when you would normally throw a grenade, you would throw one and it'd be helpful. And you'd be like, in a certain situation, you'd be like, okay, yeah, I'm going to use this flashbang to throw over this car or around this corner into this room or through this door, because I blew a hole through it. And it's going to fill a big radius of the room. 9bangs were just not that. Now they would stun, and I didn't test necessarily the stun duration of the 9bang versus the flashbang. It was going to be kind of hard to test that. But a lot of the time, I as I said, I really don't know. I don't really care to speculate, because usually I like to just kind of have reliable kind of things being discovered here when I test these things. But it's just a lot of the time I just found myself throwing more because they weren't effective and I didn't hit the targets. So I just ended up wasting more flashbangs. So they're less efficient, less effective, and they were more hazardous to my team if you missed through it or whatever, right? And it took longer to enter rooms. So do I recommend 9bangs? Probably not. Now, if you want to use 9bangs because they're fun, and I agree, it is funny throwing 5 9bangs through a door and having everyone in your team just being like, what is going on? And you want to create earthquakes whenever you throw them because it is comical every time I throw one. And someone's just like, what was that? Because I didn't know 9bangs are added. It is the most hilarious thing ever to me, but in terms of its functional usefulness, a regular flashbang is going to do better 99% of the time. So it's just not worth it. Sorry to say. For those who love 9bangs, you can use whatever you want, because this game is just all about having fun most of the time. So, but if you're looking for more effective, more efficient, more useful grenades, flashbang is what it's probably going to be. There are instances where I can think of hypothetically using a 9bang over a flashbang, and it would be better, but those circumstances do not occur. Now, a lot of the time, whenever you were throwing grenades, it felt like every mistake was multiplied with the 9bang versus the flashbang, as I said before, where it would feel like whenever you throw a 9bang, you had to wait and listen to your mistake 9 times before you were able to kind of throw another 9bang and enter the room. There are instances, as I've kind of said and kind of mentioned, where you can have a 9bang and it can be beneficial more than a flashbang. And those instances I am talking about are instances where you throw a flashbang and let's say there's an enemy around a corner and they are walking around the corner and then they are affected by that flashbang. Now, I can see that argument and it makes sense, but the issue with that argument is, why are you using flashbangs then? You're probably more likely just going to have more benefit from using a gas grenade. And gas grenades now are pretty damn effective from my testing, and honestly could even strike a new meta within Ready or Not. In certain areas, it can be exceptionally strong with gas grenades, but we're not talking about that technically speaking. But honestly, if you're using a 9bang to like hold down a corner and push up, that's a reasonable use for it. If you're like, hey, I'm going to throw this around the corner so that I am able to move up to a position, like throwing it at a doorway, pushing up with it, That makes sense with a 9-bang, because you can't really do that with a flashbang. Now you can throw one, it can set off, and it can stun everybody in the radius, and that's great. But if you have a 9-bang and you want to push to a location, let's say there's a door and it's active and it's hot, right? It's going to be a lot of traffic of enemies or whatever it is. If you throw a 9-bang at the front of that door, you push up, you can do it kind of safely because you know that any movement towards that location will kind of be locked down for that short period of time. But it's still very niche. It's still expecting that when you throw that 9-bang, basically there has to be a line of sight essentially that is broken by cover, and then they enter the 9-bang. But with the flashbang, you throw it, it explodes. Let's say they were in cover, and then they run out, right? And obviously that's kind of a sucky thing. And that's obviously where the 9-bang kind of has a strength where you can throw it at a location, you can hold down that angle for like that couple seconds of explosion of the 9-bangs going off. And then you're like, okay, I can push up this location to kind of like readjust and kind of do that. So if you're using the 9-bangs in those manners where you're trying to use it to push up through it to a location where it's hot, or you're just trying to get a better angle, they can be acceptable. They can be okay. Once again, a gas can do that better, but generally speaking, most of the time gas is going to be better than a 9-bang. But regardless, 9-bang, it can still do that. It has the capability. It has a use that the flashbang does not have. Obviously, you can also throw it if you are getting pushed. So for example, if you are on those newer levels, well, what happens? They stack up, they throw a flashbang, and then they push you. Most of the time, you can use other tools to prevent them from pushing you. They do have gas masks, I believe, on the New America. But the flashbang will prevent them from leaving that area. But then again, why not just use a flash? You throw a flashbang, it stuns them. It's instant, and it has a bigger radius. So if they're not at the door yet, or if there's more in the room, they're more likely to get stunned. The 9-bang is only going to prevent the people from pushing. But once that stun is over, which is just like a regular flashbang, why does it matter, right? So functionally, like, 9-bang has a smaller radius, as I've said before. So there's not many uses, and I've tried to experiment with a lot of the uses that could exist for them. And what I came up with was throwing it in the air. It explodes in the air as it moves. Is that better? Not really, because a lot of the time, if you have enough height, a lot of the time you're not reaching close enough to the ground if you're throwing it over like a long corner. And even instances where you do throw them, a lot of the time, like just right there in this map with this guy pushing me down a hallway, I threw it. I thought it was going to tag him with the stun of the flashbang, or the 9-bang, sorry. And it just didn't result in anything. It just didn't help. A flashbang may have hit him because of their distance, so it would have been better. So I really don't see a use for the 9-bang in any practical sense. You can find them and get lucky with certain situations, as I said, in scenarios. But a lot of the time, flashbang is just going to be king, pretty much no matter what. And if you are looking for other niche examples of using a grenade to hold a location or prevent pushing, a gas grenade is usually going to do that already. Or just a regular flashbang will most of the time do that as well already as well. As I said, like, I mean, gas grenades have longer deploy times, like 4 seconds if you use it, a hand-thrown gas grenade. So it's not going to prevent pushing if you are getting pushed really quickly. But as I said, like, just here in this example of Ides of March, like, it's not working like I would expect it to. I'm getting pushed and they kind of move around, and it doesn't tag them and stun them. So as I said, my consensus is flashbangs don't really have many negatives. 9-bangs have more negatives, especially if you are misthrowing them. So when it comes to 9-bangs versus flashbangs, I'm sorry, but flashbangs are just going to be better in pretty much every conceivable way. There are instances, as I said, with 9-bangs where they can be more beneficial and more useful than a flashbang, but they are just not frequent enough to justify using a 9bang over a flashbang. So my recommendation, honestly, is if you want to bring both and kind of just, you know, swap between them as you need them, I think that's fine as well. Like you can use them for specific situations and get value out of them based on a, you know, per mission basis. And here in the bank, this is kind of illustrating like me throwing them and blowing up. You, it's going to be the same radius as just throwing a regular flash. And if you throw one in the air, kind of airburst a flash grenade really effectively, you're blinding people in a bigger radius anyway. While the 9bang is blowing up multiple times in a line, still not creating enough radius to justify using a 9bang. So like on this bank map, it just wasn't valuable enough, quite frankly, to justify using it. And a lot of the time, I'll tell you honestly, gas grenades will completely make this mission insanely easy if you have gas launchers or like 6 gas grenades into this room. Or 9bangs are just not going to be up to par with competing with other grenades that exist. Of course, then, you know, I'll probably make a video about stingers, but as it stands, that's kind of the consensus about 9bangs and flashbangs. And flashbangs have been around forever. People are pretty used to using them. Not hard to go wrong with them, honestly. 9bangs are fun, but they're more situational, less easy to use, and the mistakes you make with 9bangs are going to be much worse. So anyway, that is going to be it for the video. Thank you for watching and have a good day.